It's 5 o'clock our time. So glad to see you all here. Hello, Illuminations as well. Okay, so my name is Mike Mays, and I live in Cornwall, in the UK, with my wife Sandy, who is also a clairvoyant medium. Pre-COVID, our work took us to UK, obviously, Australia, New Zealand, and France. But since COVID lockdown, it has been our pleasure to work online for Illuminations in Dubai. It's been very nice people, and hopefully one day we'll get out there very soon to see all of you as well as Illuminations. But it's a moment in time. Hopefully within the next few months it might be okay. So welcome to this webinar. It's deep energy delta healing with psychic deep energy reading. So what is deep energy healing and psychic deep energy reading? And what can it do to enhance your holistic wellness, you may ask? This is what I am to clarify in this webinar. So, our energy field, I presume you all know you have an energy field, because you do, believe me. You used to call it an aura, now they call it an energy field, because we can photograph it and measure it electronically, so we know it's there. This is quantum physics, so we know this is there. So believe me, you have one. Our energy field, our body, our chakras need to work in harmony. Synchronicity and balance with no blockages at all. In order for us to have holistic wellness, I will be telling you about how to achieve this with my deep energy delta readings and healings, and I will show you and prevent, hopefully, further blockages. So we're aiming for you to help yourself as well. So this is very good. One question I'm often asked is, how is it possible to carry out this healing absently? So I'm talking to you, I presume most of you in Dubai, some maybe some other countries in the world. So how is that possible? Well, it's all about energy, as we said in our energy fields. And energy has no time, space, or barriers. We do. Time is not linear. We put this time, if you like, on our earth. We made our time zones and our settings. Energy doesn't care. It goes where it needs to go to and where it wants to go to. So basically, this form of healing will work anywhere in the world. And it doesn't matter whether it's on Zoom or absent healing talking on a phone or wherever it is, it will work in the same manner if it's done right. And obviously, we aim to do it right. So this is what it is. This is what it's all about. So what exactly is healing and why is it necessary for our holistic health? So, healing is the process of making better or making whole, to make one, if you like. So if you add the word, if you look at the word heal, and you add TH to it, you get health. The art of healing is very ancient. It's been going back centuries and centuries. It involves the transfer of energy, if you like. That's what it's about. And it's been going for thousands of years. In other words, it's not a form that it's not from the healer themselves. It's the healing links, the universal divine energy to channel healing energy of mind, body, and spirit for the person that they're working on. So it's not always about me, the healer. It's about how it's channeled through. As long as there's been human beings on the earth, if you like, there's been attempts to heal the sickness experienced by the human body. In all recorded societies over the ages, there have been people who have used their healing knowledge and gifts to aid the healing process. The oldest known healing practices were found in shamanism, possibly the world's oldest religion. In the shaman healing practices, the shaman or the healer, if you like, priest, would enter into an altered state of consciousness, and they would journey to a non-ordinary planes of existence, if you like. So in other words, the spirit world, and obtain help for his sick patient. This is what my healing is based on. I go down to the delta level of the brainwaves. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about that later as well, which govern our consciousness. This is sometimes known as deep trance-like state. Sometimes we call it deep energy healing because the trance word can seem a bit bizarre, if you like. There are people that sometimes think that if I'm in a trance-like state, I'm going to put them in a trance-like state and, you know, all sorts of things. It's not that at all. A trance-like state is an altered state of awareness, an altered state of consciousness, if you like. It is a very, very deep state of trance, if you like. So it's removing yourself away from your conscious state. That's all it is. But it's very, very effective in this way. So if you like, this is how I do it and this is how it works. So I also, with this altered state of consciousness and a journey to a non-ordinary planet, I am also obviously helping sick patients, or people not even sick. Sometimes it's just about people that need help in other ways in their life purposes, or maybe you've had a bereavement, or you've had something that's affected and altered your life, and you may need something like that, or you may need just some guidance. So that's a bit life coaching, if you like. This is what my healing is based on. I go down to this deep delta state. I then link with the spirit world, asking the appropriate healing universal energy to be channeled through me in order to clear any blockages and damage, and harmony and balance to my client. So as I come back from that normal state of consciousness, I become aware of where the blockages are, the damage that's done, and where it is in my client's chakras. And so energy field, or you know, in their energy field, or in other words, where the healing took place. This is a deep energy psychic reading. That's the psychic reading part of this. So if I'm repairing, rejuvenating, and helping with the healing process in your energy field, as I come in and out of this conscious state, this altered state of awareness, I'm given and shown and can feel and sense, if you like, where this healing's going. So and that's where the psychic part of the reading comes in, because it enables me to give you something back so that you can help yourself. I pass this information to my client with an explanation of the parts of the body which relate to the relevant chakra or chakras. So basically, I'm able to say to my client, the healing went here. I found that this particular chakra was unbalanced. I felt that this was wrong. I thought that maybe there's something in your life that's happening around you, and this is happening and that's happening. So there's always an explanation to this psychic reading, and this is how this works. Or relevant areas. Sometimes it's just areas in your energy field that's been sort of destroyed because of something that's gone on reasonably recently. I'll give you a very quick example of this. I recently had a very close family member pass away, and although I understand, because of what I do, where that person is and what that person is and how they are, it's still very disturbing to your energy field. It made me quite, I don't know, a few restless, sleepless nights, if you like, and it made me feel not myself, which is understandable. So sometimes it's just about things like that where we need to have this rebalance so that we can put ourselves back in charge again, if you like, so we can be refocused, so re-energized, and we can go out, if you like, and face the world, the problems, our problems, everybody else's problems, and it just makes periods and transitional periods a lot easier. So that's just a thing. So I also tell them about how to avoid the damage and the blockages in the future. So sometimes it might be something simple that's happening around their lives, and I can make suggestions and tell them how and where and when you can manage this for yourselves. Just to clarify brainwaves, let's look at brainwaves. I'm hoping most of you have heard about brainwaves, but I will do a little explanation on it. And by the way, I did forget to mention earlier on that there will be questions and answers on a couple of occasions, and there will be, if you put anything in the chat box, my lovely glamorous assistant, as in my wife, I have to say that because she's around about listening to me, but I love it anyway. She will answer some of your questions, or give some of the questions to me so I can answer. So that's good. Just to clarify the brainwaves in. There are 4 main states, if you like, 4 main brainwaves. For most of us, most people, we're in the beta state, which is the top state. I'll very quickly go. We've got beta state, alpha state, theta, and delta. So, okay. So the beta state is the state that most of us are in. And that's a very fast-paced state, if you like. And it's the all singing, all dancing, basically. So it's about us as we work, as we play, as we do things with our partners, whatever we're doing, we're talking to people, even myself actually talking to you here now. I'm in a quite high state, which is a beta state, which is the working state, because my thoughts are everywhere, thinking about all sorts of things, and it's there. So we look at that, and that's the mind kicking in there quite highly. That all the states vibrate on different levels. They produce electricity, which again can be measured. The beta state produces 13 to 60 pulses per second of electricity. So while you're in that state, it's quite a high state. And then if we look at the second state, and this is very good because this is all part of the getting down to the delta state 1 and to your brainwaves and your mind levels and how you work with your mind. So the alpha state is a very slightly meditative state. It's one less. It's a bit like when you're, I don't know, going around a supermarket or something like that, or a store, which you have, and you're conscious of what you need to do, but you're not mindful of it. You're not too worried. You're in a nice little state there. And instead of 13 to 60, it goes down, these pulses per second of electricity, to 7 to 13. So you can imagine that's like, quite a substantial difference over one tiny little level. And then we get the theta state, which is like the sleep state, if you like. There are various states in between that, but we get the theta state, which is the sleep state, if you like. And that goes down to 4 to 7 pulses per second of electricity, which again is quite massive. And then we go to the delta state, which is a state I work in, which is the unconscious, unaware state, if you like. It's not unconscious completely, but it means you don't have to be aware of your thoughts. You're not listening to anything around you. You don't know too much about what's happening. And that goes right down from, remember the beta state, okay, 13 to 60. This goes down to 0.1 to 4. So for a lot of us, I know where I'd like to be for most of the time, but obviously I can't. So just be aware of these states, and this is how it is. So to achieve this, we obviously have to practice. So what is the energy field? Surrounding and interpenetrating our physical body is an energy field, believe it or not, which comprises of 7 colors which reflect the colors of the 7 chakras, because each one of our 7 major chakras have colors. There are other chakras as well, but there's 7 major ones, so that's what it is. It's said that the size and the thickness and the shape of the energy field reveals a person's personality, power, and emotional state. Okay? The energy field is dynamic and can be affected by the environment, the mood, and the intent of the person. So all our energy fields can be affected like that. So one phone call that's a bit not very nice, one person maybe not very nice to you, someone that's a bit miserable, however you are, it can have a massive effect on the energy field and your chakra system. Okay, so its condition also reflects the state of the physical body. As I said, a sudden emotional or physical experience can intensely change the condition of your energy field and upset the balance and self-control. And this is what we're aiming to stop, if you like. Chakras is a Sanskrit word meaning wheel, disc, or wheel of life. There are energy points in the energy field. They spin at great speed and need to be in balance. They need to be balanced. So we can sort that for you. This is how that works. So, quite a lot already. It's quite good, isn't it? So, behind each chakra is the main nerve ganglia of the body, and this is a connection between the energy field and the body. It's all integrated, and it balances and impacting on how we feel. So all this is part of how we feel, how we register ourselves. So the concept of 7 chakras originates in Eastern spiritual traditions. Don't know if you knew that, but it does. We see the chakras as fundamental energy exchanges. They facilitate within the body and the energy field. So each chakra corresponds to a different aspect of our life and provides important functions on our 4 levels of existence. So basically, it's about the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the energetic. So they do a massive job. It's very powerful. The system is based on a Hindu tradition, actually, that recognizes 7 distant wheels of energies. These centers are arranged along the spiral. The spinal column, from its base to the top of the head. The chakras are continuous motion. Each relates to a specific color and vibration and frequency. Chakras have a power to vitalize body, mind, and energy. Their spinning actions need to be synchronized for holistic balance for you. Okay. Now, what we're going to do now is going to ask if anybody's got any questions. They can either unmute themselves, or maybe somebody can from Illuminations, or write in chat box or whatever. But just a couple of minutes for some questions, because I've been talking quite a lot, and I'm sure that some of you are thinking, wow, that's a bit bombarding. I could do with a couple of questions. So has anyone got any questions for us for a couple of minutes? My wife's just looking in the chat box if anyone's got any, but if not, maybe one of you might have. Leslie will.
Read the song.
Sorry?
Read the song, please.
Okay.
Yes.
You got one?
No.
Okay.
Read your song, please.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of examples. I've got a couple of examples here. I often get asked questions from people, and they're usually along the same course. We get often asked quite a lot. So I've just got one of the ones I get a lot of is, how often should this healing be given? Well, obviously we're going to talk a lot more about how I do it and what happens and everything else later, and that's fine. Realistically, it would be nice to think you could have it done every 6 months. It's a bit like, how well are you keeping your car? How good is it? Are you keeping it in tip-top condition? And if so, you probably wouldn't need a major service. Well, you wouldn't until you have an MOT, whichever or whatever they call it in your country, which is the major thing once a year to keep it all balanced throughout a year. But usually what happens is halfway through, so 6 months if you like, you're going to need to check the oil, check the water, do a few little maintenance jobs, if you like, tiny little jobs they might be, but it just also helps to keep that tip-top in condition again. Let's see, somebody's put something on chat.
I can't see the chat box. You might have a technical difficulty.
So this is basically how it's worked. I would have said probably 6 months. Certainly not before, I wouldn't have thought on this one. So
can the chat box person do speak, because this isn't working?
Okay, so if you go back onto your, I'm just doing a technical thing. So if you go back onto your, where it says the screen, no, where you're showing yourself.
I'm not seeing it.
You are, you're showing yourself. You're showing the room.
I haven't got anything else.
Yeah, where you are, room. That's it. Click on it. Okay. All right, we have a technical problem. So if there is a chat in the chat box, can that person speak, please? Because we
can't see it.
Can't see it on the chat box, and it means I'd have to get up there and have a look at that. So that's not good. So we don't want to do that. Okay. I'll give you one other example for now. So what might I feel during a session, somebody put, which is a common one. I think she's got it in there. That's quite common. What might you feel? Realistically, for most people, I would say they feel very calm, obviously. They usually feel something. They usually feel, a lot of people say, I feel warmth. I feel maybe some tingling, maybe whatever. But usually it's more about, and sometimes some people say I can feel movement of the chakras and that sort of thing. So it's quite nice. It's a very gentle, unobtrusive method, and it will make you feel rather nice afterwards, which is quite good. So, and I'll give you one more. So we're just looking at the chat box. What may I feel after a session? Well, there's a funny thing, because after a session, I've had people say, well, I don't feel any different. Okay, but you will later on. I've had a lot of people say, I feel, oh, so much better for that. So it really does depend on the person, and it also depends on how and what, if you like, and the reasons why they've come for the session. So there might be some emotional problems. There might be some deep-rooted stuff that may need to go like for a few more sessions. Sometimes it can be stuff from things from maybe childhood that's just dragging into the present. Sandy on his script. So, you know, it really does depend on the person. It's a very difficult one to say. I had one person quite a while ago now who came in with a walking stick, and he was a bit sort of, if you like, I don't believe in this sort of thing. And then all of a sudden he said, well, I don't feel any different. 2 weeks later, his life had changed completely for the healing. He met a girlfriend, and he was an elderly gentleman, and they were great. He didn't have the walking stick anymore. In fact, he was caught dancing on the dance floor. So something must have happened that was really nice. So it does work, and it works for different people. Okay, so we'll get back to this. So what causes blockage and damage in our energy field and chakras? Well, a simple answer to that is life. So, glasses. Life. It can be anything. I mean, you know, let's look at this. Unresolved events in our past are stored in the energy field and have an ongoing effect, an impact on us, if you like. Lots of things from our childhood and from our life, as in going back a little while, a few years, has a massive effect on us, especially children. You know, it's really, events in our current life as well. Bombardment of us. I mean, you know, we're bombarded all the time through all sorts of media and all sorts of things. Luckily, this sort of media is really, really nice. One phone call, one message, one meeting with someone can change our lives absolutely implicitly. Last week, as I was talking about a family member, I had a phone call out of the blue to say this is what had happened. This person had passed on. I couldn't believe it. And it changed my life slightly, certainly for a few days afterwards, made me feel totally different. It affected me in all sorts of ways in the energy field. I mean, I'm lucky enough to know how to rebalance it, but a lot of people aren't. So it really, really can. Input from our physical senses changes our environment. So you might go out to, I don't know, a nice park or whatever it is and smell the roses, if you like, and flowers. And it can have a massive effect on your energy field and your environment and your body and everything and all your senses. Or it could be something that's not very nice, and that has a big effect as well. It can affect our whole body. Such things all have a vibration. Everything has a vibration. We have a vibration. Everything has a vibration. Trees, plants, flowers, everything. Lighting, whatever it is, it's all energy and it has a vibration. So that can have a big effect on us because we vibrate quite slow and sluggish. And most energy vibrates high, fine and fast. So if we're not compatible, there's a big effect on our whole beings, if you like. And it affects our energy field and it affects our chakras. This is communicated by the nervous system and know the physical body to the brain. So influences and blockages result. So it goes into the nervous system through the physical body up to the brain. So it's going to have a massive effect on us. I direct the healing in the universal energy, if you like, to the location of any blockages and repair the damage. Okay, so this is how this works for me. I also adjust the rate at which all the chakras are spinning, bringing them to synchronicity. And so, for example, I will be able to sense, see, feel, if you like, where these, how fast they are spinning, not fast enough, too slow, whatever, and I can adjust that. I go up and down the chakra points there, so I can adjust that to the balance of that so that it goes to where it needs to go to, and it can also be adjusted in the right order and the right way so that they're all running smoothly and positively, a bit like a cog, if you like. If one cog's out, so they're all spinning cogs, if you like, and if one cog's out, it's going to have a big effect on the others. So we need to make sure they're all balanced. Okay, it's a bit like having a major service done on your car, if you like. I know. So if your car engine isn't synchronized, it will not function effectively. At the same time, the chakras and your energy system is the same. There are 7 major chakra points, 7 major chakras. The base, which is red. The sacral is the next one, which is orange. The solar plexus, stomach area, which is yellow. The heart, believe it or not, which is green. The throat, which is light blue. The third eye, which is dark blue. And the crown, which is violet. So it'd be nice for you to look up those, and then we are going to do something on that later. So each chakra has 2 main functions, if you like. One is energetic and one is physical. And it'll always put the energetic function before any physical function. Let me give you an example. So the throat chakra, for example, that's a communication center. So this light blue, what happens is if somebody has a communication problem, i.e. they feel that they don't want to say their true feelings because it might upset somebody else, that's very noble and lovely, but it's having a massive effect on their energy field and their chakra system. So because the chakras will always look after the energetic side first, because it knows the physical body will pass as ours do. So it's always going to go for the energy, because that's what we are, energy. So it stops looking after the physical. There's where the problem lies, because then we start to get ear, nose, throat, chest, all sorts of problems. Small sort of like cough. Sometimes people say, oh no, it's nothing there, it's fine. But it's actually that. It could be ears, nose, throat, it could be anything. Eventually, if it's really bad, it can lead to thyroid problems. So what we need to do is we need to obviously work this one out so we can express our feelings properly, so that we can get off our chest, if you like, and we can allow then the chakras to start healing the physical side as well as the energetic side, and that's what we want to do. So that's very, very important. Okay. Now, if I detect that the throat chakra of my client is out of balance and blocked, I know that they have not been fully expressing their feelings, and that those unexpressed feelings are stored up in the throat chakra and the chest area of the energy field of that person. So the throat chakra's main energetic job is to promote free flow of emotions, to prevent them from stagnating and becoming negative. So when there's a blockage in the chakra, I will put all its effort into trying to clear that blockage. I will therefore neglect the physical job, which is looking after the ears, nose and throat. This is what the chakra is doing. Okay, I will detect that in the universal energy to clear the blockage and throat chakra. It's highly likely that I will also have to adjust the third eye and the heart, because they're pretty much synchronized as well. So this is how I do it, and I can see that, feel that and sense that. So that's quite good, and I'm able to help you with that and give you that, and that's just one little example. Chakras, as they may well be impacted by the malfunction of the throat chakra, when I talk to my client after I've come back from the alpha state, I will encourage them to get into the emotions, if you like, in the habit of writing down any unexpressed emotions. So, for example, if, say, the throat chakra is bad and they can't say their true feelings, if you like, say I ask the client to say to a client, well, how about you write it down? How about you put it on a piece of paper and look at it and examine it and go, this is what's happening here. Can I do something about it? Maybe I can, maybe I can't. If I can't, it's okay. It doesn't matter. If I can, I will change it. If I can't, I can screw the paper up, put it in a waste paper bin. But what I've done is I've got it away from myself. So there's a habit says, there's an old saying that says, get it off your chest. And that's exactly what you're doing. So you're taking it away from your energy field. You're putting it onto this paper. You're throwing it in the waste paper bin. You're acknowledging it. That's giving you some clarity. So you're also allowing that chakra to start looking after the physical body. And that's how it is. So I'll encourage people to work this way. I'll make them aware also of where it is in their physical body and how they'll be alleviated by the clearing of the energy and the blockages. They'll also be avoiding in the future, by writing down unexpressed feelings, they're able to avoid things like this happening again in the future, because we all tend to say, well, I'll do this today, and then by tomorrow we've forgotten about it. So if we can manage to do that for ourselves, that's self-empowering. So that's really, really good for you. So that is an example, if you like, of a deep energy psychic reading. This reading should result in a sense, if you like, of holistic wellness and balance, which should in turn empower you, a client, to show them how to start managing their energy field, your chakras and their chakras. So this is really empowering for you, and this is what we're trying to do here as well. We're trying to empower you, because it's not always about me. It's not always about what happens in your life. It's about how you manage it and what you do with it. So if we can help you to manage it in a greater sense, then that's the job. That's the healing job. That's what healing is. It's about getting you as well as me to manage it yourself. So again, when I take this proverbial car in for a service and the man services it really, really well, I want him to say to me later, well, okay, I've done this now. It's all balanced. It's all wonderful. How about next week? How about when you go through some big flood water or whatever it is and it has a big effect on your car? How about if you don't check your oil for the next 6 months? It might go low in oil and it might damage your car engine. So he wants to give me, hopefully, the wherewithal, if you like, so that I can help myself. And this is what I want to do for my clients and for people like yourselves, so that you understand how it all works. Okay. So the chakra obviously is a very big subject, and this is just a small example of what's been going on here. I am doing a webinar personally myself on working and understanding the chakras at 8 p.m. on the 30th of July. There's a little plug there for you. And this will cover the subject as it is in more detail, because this is a massive, massive subject, chakras. You could literally go on a day. We've sometimes done workshops on it and it's lasted for 2 days because it really is a huge subject. So obviously the next workshop we do will just be about a small area. So it gives you an insight, if you like, to helping yourself. So let's look at the results of having deep energy delta healing with a psychic reading. You will feel balanced, re-energized. You have a much greater understanding of your energy system. You will function more comfortably, efficiently in all areas of your life. And those areas are affected by unblocking and repairing of the energy fields and chakras. You'll feel more in control of yourself and your health. So this is what this is about. I'm going to ask for some more questions in a minute. And I'd like you to either go through the chat box if we can, if we're still there. Apparently,
yes, don't think so.
Unless
you can get up and do it here.
Unless I can get up and do it here. Or try that. Unmute yourself, and I might get up in a minute and try a few questions on the chat box. But I want you to think about what I've said. Healing is a vast, it's vast, it's huge. It's been going, like I said, for so many years, but it doesn't matter anymore. What matters is how you are doing this, how you are coping with this, how I, as a Delta healer, can help you not only just heal you in it, whether it's a physical or whether it's a mental or whether it's an energetic or whatever it is. It's also about you helping yourself. And we have to look at the healing side. For most people, for a lot of people, they'll come to me with things like, I've got a bad shoulder, I've got a bad back, I've got stomach problems, I've got whatever problems I've got. Can you help? Well, yes, of course I can help. But probably 98% of all physical problems emanate from the energy field. So if you have, I don't know, a bad shoulder, for example, just giving you an example, is not necessarily true. You're stressed out at work, you've had a bad day, somebody's upset you in the past, you can't express yourself properly, whatever the case is, you can't sleep properly. So what happens is that's in your energy field. So your energy field tends to give it to you in the physical, and it will give it to you in whichever way it can, especially in the areas of whatever chakra is. So whatever chakra area, so like the throat chakra will give you ears, nose, throat, chest area, possibly a shoulder pain, whatever it is. It will give you that so that you know there's a problem. I've got a bad shoulder, there's a problem. What is the problem here? Is it that I've got a torn muscle, torn ligament, or whatever it is, or frozen shoulder? Or is it the fact that I need to look at my life? I need to look at my energy field and say, oh, hang on a minute. I couldn't express my feelings properly to this person who upset me. So it's come out in the physical. Does this make sense? So that, as I said, 98% of the time, it's not physical, or the physical is there because of the energy field. So that's why sometimes we need to, say, like, for example, a lot of the ancient medicines, they will want you to go and see them when you were well, so that you can check out, especially Chinese medicines, they will want to check you out and check your energy field and your blood pulses, not your blood pressure, before there was a problem, so that they can sort that problem out before it happens, if you like. The energy, sort the energy field out, sort the chakra system out before it happened. So again, 9 times out of 10, people that used to go to these Chinese medicines and the old ancient doctors, they would say, it's a bit late now. Why did you come to me now? Why didn't you come to me before, so that I could prevent the physical from happening, if you like? And that's what I do, prevent that from happening. So I can give you the knowledge and the wherewithal, so that you know what's coming up, you know what's happening, and you can adjust that for yourselves, and you can help yourselves. We used to have, I don't know if you have in Dubai, we used to have what we call family doctors many years ago. And this doctor, usually, if they were lucky enough, they brought you into the world. And sometimes they let you out of the world, and sometimes they didn't. But they were your family doctors. So it wasn't like a surgery where you go now and there may be 4, 5, 6 different doctors who you've probably never seen in your life, or locums or whatever. And this person was for your family. And they knew everything about you, your mother, your father, your children, and everything else. And we used to go to them, and they used to have like these old-fashioned ways. And they say, first of all, they say, stick out your tongue. You think, why? Why are you looking at my tongue? You know, I've got a shoulder pain or a back pain or whatever it is. But you can see your tongue is a map of your body, and you can see everything on the tongue. So if you put out your tongue, they will be able to see colour, a bit like your colour chakras and everything else. So they would understand where everything is. And it's the same with the feet. The feet are exactly the same. Reflexology is fantastic because it's a map of your feet, so they can tell what's coming up, where the problems are, and how you're doing with all this. They also do it with, and this is what I do, and I also do it with animals, you see. Most animals, horses, dogs, and everything else, they go like this with the gums. They lift their gums, their mouth up, and they look at their gums. Some people do it here. You can look at an animal's gums and tell and humans, by the colour of the gums and state as to what state their energy field is and a chakra system it is. It's a bit like my analysis, and this is what it does, and it's really, really clever. It's not really clever, it's normal, it's part of life. It's what we used to do years and years ago, a long time ago we used to do it, but we seem to have forgotten or been misplaced or moved away from the real energy field and the real chakras and how they really, really work, because most of us don't know, to be honest, and it's nobody's fault necessarily. It's part of life, and it's the way we've evolved, if you like, especially with the technology and everything that's gone on today. We've lost our sense, if you like, back to this sense word. We've lost a sense of who we are and what we are and how we can do it. And I personally, and I know my wife feels the same, believe that this sort of basic stuff, if you like, should be taught in schools, because how does anyone know how somebody, or why somebody's horrible? Say like 2 little children, one's a nice child and one's not so nice, or he's angry, or whatever they are, or she. How do they know what's actually caused that? They probably don't. They probably just think, oh, that's a miserable person. But actually, it could be to do with the fact that this person's energy field is not right, or they've had an upset in their morning, if you like. So yeah, so teaching things like that at schools helps people to gain that knowledge, if you like, to how we really work. So to sum up of what I do, it is this deep energy and delta state and psychic reading on the energy field. So I told you how I do it. I told you what I do. So basically, it's all about helping you to move on, to help yourself, to gain the knowledge, to be able to, it will rebalance the energy fields, rebalance the chakra system and repair the energy field, and it will clear any blockages that are there at that moment in time. And it'll also give you the wherewithal, if you like, to help yourself in the future, because that's what I want. I don't want it just to finish here and say, well, okay, I fixed this little bit and I've done that little bit and that's wonderful. And 3 weeks later, you're in the same position. I want you to be able to help yourself as much as, yes, I'd like to see you again, but I want you to be able to know and acknowledge what's causing any problems that you may or may not have. So you have the power. I don't want it all. I like it, but I don't want it all. I want to give it to you. And that's where we are with this. Okay. So we're going to do questions now. I've got a funny, if you can read the questions, that'd be really good. If not, if somebody doesn't want to, I will have to get up in a minute and look at the chat. But I'd rather, if you can unmute yourselves and ask a question, that'd be really good. So be brave. Question answered. There we go. From to everyone. Thank you. Okay, that was a thank you. So, any questions, please?
Wave your hand.
Come on, wave your hand. Come on. Got to be some. Go on, Leslie. If you want a question, okay. For free consultation phone. Okay. Yeah. So Illuminations is just saying, as you've seen probably, for free consultation or for any readings, healings, or whatever it is, contact Illuminations because they're doing a grand job. And if you have a 20-minute experiential with me and then had a reading afterwards or healing afterwards, sorry, I'm sure they can do some sort of nice little offer for you. So
question asked.
Come on, question asked is a lesson for everybody. So has somebody unmuted this? Oh no, that's me. All right. Okay, so Leslie, you can't unmute yourself. Is that right? Okay, so Illuminations, can Leslie unmute herself? Can you? Or do I have to do it? I might have to do it. So, excuse me. Okay, let's try it. Let's go for it. Participants. Where are you, Leslie? More. No, can't do it.
Oh, I think I have done it now.
You got it? You got it?
Yeah, lovely. I wanted to ask about, once you've done the healing with somebody, and you're saying that we can then learn to do it ourselves.
Yep.
In the beginning, you do the healing, you were explaining in the delta state. And there are all these other frequencies, and we're normally in the beta state.
Yeah.
And I was quickly looking on Google about the beta state, and I'm confused. Are you are healing in the delta state?
Yeah.
But then it seems that if you go into the higher states, the beta state and even the gamma state, it attunes to higher frequencies of music and things. So I'm a bit confused.
Right, okay, what it does, you're right. What it does is, so if you're in the beta state, right, which is all singing, all dancing, whatever.
Yeah.
What I do is, because we all vibrate, everything has a vibration. We vibrate roughly the same because we've got physical bodies. We vibrate slow and sluggish, if you like. Energy vibrates high, fine, and fast. So we're not compatible at this moment in time. I would not be compatible in the beta state. So what I do is, if I go to the delta state, by actually bringing myself down to that deep level, it actually raises my vibration. So although I'm down there asleep, it's raising my vibrations very, very high. And that's where I can tap into and be one with the universal and spirit energies.
Oh, I see.
Because I'm raising my vibration. It's a bit like when you're asleep. Energy, spirit, or anyone can get in touch with you far easier because your vibrations are raised. So that's how it works.
Oh, I see. That's what, when I was trying to work out brain waves and the chakras.
Yeah. Because it's
correlation. So to do it oneself, if you want to heal yourself, to rebalance the chakras, you need to go deeper through meditation.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a quick example. That's absolutely right. And a quick example was everyone can do this because certainly on a small scale at the beginning, I like, we meditate quite a bit. We call it sitting because I like to do the sitting, I say the sitting word because for me, meditation has a little bit of it works very well, but some people get frightened of meditation because they think they have to do it for half an hour, they have to do this, they have to do that. So I sit and be, because we're human beings, not human doings, okay? So I would just put one hand here, one hand on the solar plexus. I would just relax. I wouldn't take deep breaths necessarily. I would just concentrate on my breathing, listen to my breathing, sorry, not concentrate. And not take deep breaths or anything. And any thoughts that come into my head, they're going to. But just then ask for the universal energies to come flying through your hands, and you will find they will. They will give you the warmth and the energy that you need, so you can top up yourself basically. And all you're doing by doing that is coming out of those beta state, lowering your brain waves, raising your vibrations to allow that universal energy, to allow that channel to come through you and into you. And that's what it's doing. It's very powerful.
So we don't need to listen to music, or we don't need to push
No, not necessarily. I mean, some people like that. Some people think that's good, and that's wonderful. I find it very difficult in lots of ways because I used to find that we sort of set ourselves a goal then when we're doing that. Right, okay, I've got half an hour or whatever I've got. You can do this 2 to 5 minutes, by the way. If you set a goal and you say half an hour, and then I've got to pick the kids up from school, whatever it is, and you're there, a couple of deep breaths, you've automatically, in a funny sort of way, put up a barrier. You've set yourself up for a little bit of a failure. So just don't be worried about it, frightened about it, or anything else. Just allow it to happen. And that's how I got into that. One of the questions, questions? Sorry, does that answer, Leslie?
Thank you. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, no problem. One of the questions a lot of people used to ask me is, how do you do this? So a bit like you, Leslie, how can you actually get down to this delta level? How, it took me a long time. It took me 10 years properly to learn. At a special college called the Arthur Findlay College. I'm not saying it will take you 10 years. It really does depend on the person. But how I used to do it was thoughts come into our head all the time. We're automatic. It's the most natural thing in the world. So to be able to have no thoughts when I'm in this delta state, I'm not conscious of my surroundings and I don't have thoughts at all. And that's the hardest bit. That's the bit that took so long to learn. But what I used to do was every time a thought would come into my head, I would see a picture. So a thought would come into my head, I'd go to this picture. It happened to be the moon because I like astronomy. So I would automatically look at the moon. So a thought would come into my head, look at the moon. And this took a long time, obviously. And then after a while, the thoughts sort of disappeared, but all I was seeing was the moon. And I thought, well, that's no good because it's still a thought. So we have to do this. So luckily, or unluckily, however you look at it, I suffer from tinnitus. And I know that this ringing in the ears, as soon as I concentrate on it, it started to disappear. It only lasts a few seconds and then it disappears. Concentrate, it disappears. So then I decided that when the moon came in, I'd concentrate on the tinnitus. And it disappeared. Moon came in, concentrate on the tinnitus, disappeared. So eventually, there was nothing. It took a long time, but it all disappeared, and that's how to do it. You have to do it in your own way. So, to sum up, you know now exactly what I do, and how it works and what it is, and you can get in touch with Illuminations at any time if you need to for either a experiential session or a session with me, which would be really good. Also. My wife Sandy works for Illuminations as well. I'm going to plug her as well. And she's a clairvoyant medium, and so I get medium, as we all are. And she does sessions with Illuminations, so either a full session or just experiential as well. So again, you can contact Illuminations and they will do that for you. And you can ask questions or now if you wish, or anything else. Any more? I might give you another one if you haven't got any. Yeah. All right, somebody put once, why do I need to be healed? Somebody asked me. I feel all right. Ah, you might feel all right. That doesn't mean to say you are all right. I feel okay now, sort of. Apart from this. But actually, you never know. How do you know you're all right until something happens? How do you know your energy field and your chakra system is fully balanced until something happens? So you could be walking down the street all happily and wonderful. All of a sudden, I don't know, your leg gave way because there was a problem within your foot or your leg before. But until it actually gives way, you don't know. So if you get healed first, a bit like the car again, the major service, if you get healed and rebalanced first, and these things could come out within that healing thing, if you like. I might say, oh, I've got a funny sensation in my leg. Look after that, whatever it is. But you know about this. So if you get healed first, the chances are the physical won't come out because you're already balanced and healed. So we never know what's wrong until we know. Let's do it before. Preventative is always better. And I will know. So we prevent things from happening. We don't want them to happen all of a sudden. We don't want to be called out at the last minute, if you like. Let's just try and help ourselves to help ourselves. That's it.
You can do that.
You can do that. And I can do that. Need me first, probably. And I will tell you. So, thank you very much. I hope this was of some benefit to you all. I hope that you got something out of it, whatever it is. Even if you didn't know about chakras or healing before, at least if you got a little bit out of it, I'm very, very happy. And I hope to meet you all in the future and speak to you all. So thank you very much.
Can I ask a question?
Can. Arona.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Often there's a confusion between intuition and logical thinking. How do I understand whether the thought is coming from my intuition over a logical thought, wherein I can trust my intuition more than the logical thinking?
Okay. Well, it's all to do with feelings, not thoughts. The thing is, your mind is a tool, and it always gives you these. It has a bit of a conflict, if you like, to always go with your feelings first. Your gut instinct, your actual feelings. They're the truth. Your thoughts are manufactured. All the thoughts we have are manufactured. They're programmed, if you like. It's part to do with what happened when you was a child, all the way through to now. It's all these things. If you feel something's absolutely right, then it's right. 9 times out of 10, it is right. Feelings are the truth. Thoughts are manufactured. Be very, very careful of the thoughts. Brain is a tool at the end of the day, and tools live in toolboxes, and you only get them out when you need them. So your true feelings, you wouldn't need to get them out. So it comes from your spirit, your energy, your gut instinct, your solar plexus. That's the real one. Okay, does that help?
Yeah, that does. However, as per my knowledge, I'm just talking about my knowledge. So whenever I'm talking about feelings, is it that it is associated with the mind, or it is associated with the subconscious? I want to understand the difference between that. So when I think about intuition, I feel that it is associated with the subconscious mind. And when I think about the feelings, I'm just associating it with the mind. So then the confusion arises to me whether the feelings are associated with the subconscious mind or just the mind.
Feelings are simple, the mind is complicated.
Yeah, feelings are simple and the mind is complicated.
Just check within her system.
So check within your system, your feelings. Don't let your mind control how you feel. Don't let your mind take you away from your real feelings. The sound's a little bit, well, your sound at the moment here is not very good. So I think I'm getting that right. If there is something else you wanted and I'm not quite got it right, then if you speak to Illuminations, they will send me a message and I can answer you on that message properly. Does that help you?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you for asking. Anybody else? Just we leave? No.
Thank you.
Well, thank you once again for being here and supporting me. I hope you enjoyed it. I did. And we'll speak again hopefully very soon. And thank you to Illuminations again for allowing us to do these webinars and to work with you. Very good. So thank you. Bye-bye.